What experiences do you have? What knowledge do you have? If it's entertaining, what jokes are you going to tell, right? If you want to include the humorous. List out everything. So this is like a brain dump. Welcome back to this video series on how to communicate effectively with your key audience. In this series, I wanted to give you 8 principles on communicating effectively, how you can implement these principles right away and improve your communication process, and improve your communication journey. And in last week's video, I talked about the first 4 principles, right? If you remember what they were to give your audience a purpose, right? The second one was to know your audience. What are their pains? What are their problems? The questions they have in their head and the roadblocks they constantly think about. And the third principle was to wrap your message in a story. And the fourth principle was to make yourself accessible to that audience. Those were the first 4 principles that I talked about last week. So if you haven't watched that video, I encourage you to go back to that video and watch those first 4 principles. And today, I'm going to give you principles 5 to 8 on communicating effectively. Principle number 5 is to plan your objective, right? This is a little bit different from your purpose, right? Your purpose is understanding why. Your objective here is to know what you are going to do with the audience, what your talk is going to deliver. And this comes with preparation, right? This is part of preparing for your talk, preparing for your presentation. So in this objective, what you're doing is you're listing out everything that you could possibly deliver. What experiences do you have? What knowledge do you have? If it's entertaining, what jokes are you going to tell, right? If you want to include the humorous. List out everything. So this is like a brain dump, a mind map of everything that you have to offer. And in that, just list it out. Don't judge it, list it out. And when you have it all there listed, then you eliminate what doesn't serve the audience. You eliminate what doesn't align with the why and what doesn't align with the objective, right? Because you have to be aiming at something. You have to know what the end outcome is going to be. What action are you going to move them towards, right? So when you're preparing, you're listing out all you got and eliminating the things that don't serve the purpose. Eliminating it, crossing it out, the things that don't serve it, right? And so this process could take some preparation, but when you have it prepared, you should have the essence of your talk, the essence of it. Right? So this is really key here. The essence of your talk is what people will communicate with. Well, what people will resonate with. The essence of your talk is what people are going to go away with and remember, and they're going to be able to tell their friends about it and tell their family about it. The essence of your talk is what you are thinking about when you're creating that list and identifying the objective of your communication. Principle number 6 is to incorporate movement into your talk. Movement means many things. Right? First and foremost, it means movement of your body. Right? If you observe 2 people who are intimate with each other, or they know each other, or they're really close friends with each other, if they're talking about something to the other person, they're moving their arms. And the more excited they are, their body language shows. And the same thing is true when you are speaking to your audience. You want to convey that connection to them. If you're excited about something, move your arms. I mean, there's nothing more boring than a speaker talking to an audience and they are not moving. If they are standing so still like a robot and they're not moving, right? And so that is the first type of movement. The second type of movement is to move your face. Of course, when you're talking, your lips are moving, your mouth is moving, but there's more to that than that. There's your whole facial expressions, right? And movement creates passion. When you are talking about something and you're passionate about it, you can convey that through your movements, your facial movements, your eyebrows, your facial expressions, and incorporate it with your body movements, your gestures as well. Of course, not to overly gesture or to make your gestures annoying, but just enough to convey your passion to it. And when you are passionate about something, it's infectious. And the third type of movement is in your voice. Right? When you are excited about something, your tone goes up. You might talk faster, you might talk louder, right? So there are ways that you can move your voice and create movement in your voice so that you are not monotonous. You're not talking in the same tone of voice. There's nothing more boring, and there's nothing that kills a communication more than a tone that is very monotonous. So these 3 types of movements, incorporate them in ways that are natural to you and in ways that convey that you are passionate about what you're talking about and that you are thinking about the whole time. In that body language, the intonations, and moving in a way that gets your audience to move with you. Principle number 7 is to be aware of your audience's culture. And yes, I do mean culture in terms of their cultures and their behaviors and their norms and the languages that they use, because you don't want to say something offensive, right? You want to say something that is relatable and something that they can connect to. But culture also means their intellectual culture. It also means their behaviors and their levels of awareness. Because if you are talking to an audience and you are and let's say, for example, your communication is to inform them, If their culture is such that they're not aware of what you are talking about yet, you might need to do more education. So be aware of your audience's culture. How aware are they of all the points that you're about to talk to, right? How aware are they? Do they need education? What language do they use, right? What are some things that they're averse to? What are some things that are absolutely off limits to what they are comfortable in receiving, right? And do you need to warm them up a little bit more in the beginning? Do you need to, right? So you have to be aware of the culture of your audience. And when you have that, when you've done that research, that is when you can really connect to them on a really deep level, and they can keep an open mind and they can really engage with you throughout the beginning and to the end. Comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Where are you at right now in your communication journey or your journey to becoming a communicator? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like my content, give me a thumbs up, and also remember to subscribe to my channel so that you receive notifications every time I upload a new video. And finally, principle number 8. Here it is. It's to know your material well. Whatever you are talking about and whatever the purpose and objective of your communication is, you have to know your stuff well. And here's why. When you are up there in front of your audience, you want to convey them, you want to give them the confidence that you know what you're talking about. So that means not to read off cue cards, don't be reading off slides or reading off sheets of paper or standing behind a podium because you have your notes in front of you. It's okay if you're speaking in a podium, if you're speaking in a stadium or in a classroom and you have slides. It's okay to have slides if the visuals will help your audience to understand your points more effectively. But you still should be able to present your material without the slides. So don't use your slides as a crutch. It's okay to enhance your presentation with slides or with photos to enhance it, but don't see it as something that you depend upon to deliver your presentation. Know your material well. And this is a great thing, because if you know your material well, it means you're passionate about it, and that passion will be infective to the audience as well. So take time to learn what you're learning. If you do need to support the core of your talk with facts and figures and data from the outside, then just learn that data well, so that you can give your audience the confidence they need that they're spending their time in front of a speaker who knows what they're talking about.